Oh, I wanna know your name. We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno.
We are Hits 96. This is Chattanooga's #1 hit music station. Gino D here with you, and I am being joined by the wonderful Adassa, who plays the role of Dolores on Encanto. Oh my goodness, you must be on cloud 9 right now. Everything is just happening for this film and for these songs. It must be amazing.
I'm ecstatic. Honestly, we never believed it would have the sheer impact it has had. I mean, anything Disney does is amazing and it blows up. But to this extent, it's insane. Honestly, GNC, we're all over the moon. We're so excited.
Yes, and it was so fantastic, the whole entire thing. Obviously, we don't talk about Bruno is what everybody's talking about when it comes to the radio airplay, when it comes to the soundtrack of the whole movie. It's just all fantastic, and I want to get into that. But real quick, Adassa, I thought we'd talk about kind of your beginnings a little bit, because you have quite the career for your own name. You've worked with Pitbull and Flo Rida and Snoop Dogg and Missy Elliott, and then you kind of have been picked up by Disney now to work on Encanto. So talk about your beginnings a little bit, and then how that process happened from you to go from the music career that you had to the music career you have now.
I've always loved music. I started singing music in church with my mom, and that's how I grew up. And for us, it was like a dream of many generations. My grandmother wanted to be a singer, but it didn't happen for her. So she went into doing nursing, Era una mulata morena, in Colombia back in those days, people like her were only the help in certain films or in telenovelas. They were never at that center of the table, And then my mom wanted to be a singer as well. She had that for like a little bit. And then she also went into the medical field. So for me, it was like, I had the dream too. It was like, I got bitten by the bug, and I knew that it's like, my family have done so much. Both of my parents came to the United States as immigrants. So it was always like this goal for me to be able to prove them that their sacrifice meant something in my life. And it meant everything in making my career what it is today. And because of them, I was able to meet my husband, who was the one who presented me with Universal Latino before we even, I never thought it would get this big. Because my dream as a little girl was like, I just want to do something for Disney. And I never thought it was like a film. Like, no, to me, it was like, I want to be able to tell people where the bathrooms are, tell them, that they're going to be fireworks in the middle of the night, hand out some maps. And then with this, it's been incredible, because from doing things with Snoop and, like you said, with Missy Elliott, being signed with Universal, that gave me the microphone to be able to do music that for me was like, I love mi música colombiana, but a la misma vez, I was born here in the United States. So I have that duality about me, and they gave me the opportunity to be able to do my music in both languages. And then I went off to tour the world. And when I thought, okay, I'm retired, here comes Disney offering me the opportunity of a lifetime.
Absolutely, and it really has been, and you've run with it, which is so great to see. And from what I understand, the audition process wasn't exactly standard per se. In fact, in your personal life, you were going through some things. I know that you were overcoming COVID. There was a couple of different little issues that you were having with the whole process. Talk about that, because I know the audition process wasn't exactly regular.
It was, and because of COVID restrictions, I was approached by the casting director assistant, Grace Kim, and said, hey, we would like for you to audition for this part. And it was Jamie Sparrow Roberts, who really was like my fairy godmother, giving me the opportunity to be able to a character, which I didn't even know what it was. And yes, during the process, everything was through Zoom. I was so excited. I got my call back. Then I met the directors, Jared Bush, Byron Howard, Charisse Castro-Smith. I saw Yvette Merino as well, one of the directors. And it was an incredible opportunity. And I did get like a rebound of COVID, and I thought I was going to die. I really did. I wrote out my will. And in this, I thought I had the opportunity to meet some of the biggest influencers of our children's generations, of my generation, that did Tangled and all that. I'm going to die happy. And during the time that I was slowly recuperating, that's when I get the call back that I got the part. And my husband was like, we should turn it down. We need to tell him. And I was like, you call him back if I'm dead. And I took it, and I had like 3 weeks to prepare to be able to sit and be with Lin-Manuel and everything. And by that time, I made a miraculous recovery, thank God. And then I was their fierce, like, and I did everything they asked me to. And I was like, this is my first time doing an animated movie. I've only done music. And they were so patient and loving and caring. And I felt like I was with family because they made everything such a safe and fun environment to be able to thrive in. And then once I met the cast, I was like, oh, big family. It's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
wonderful.
it is. And that's what's so great too. The cast is so big with the family. And that's of course one of the biggest elements of the movie Encanto, for those of us who haven't seen it, which I think there's only a few out there now at this point. And if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. You have to go Disney Plus, make sure you go and watch it. Let's talk about that role that you ended up getting for Dolores a little bit. She has a superpower of being able to hear pretty much anything. Yeah. Where does your inspiration for doing the character of Dolores? Did you find stuff in your own life? How did you work out the character?
Well, when they told me, and this was when I was already like recouped, they told me, well, we're feeling the interpretation for Dolores a more soft-spoken character. I knew where to go because for the past 3 weeks when I was recuperating, I didn't have enough strength to speak loudly and function, like just walk. If I walked and talked, I would faint. So then I had to get used to speaking to my kids like, hola, mi amor, por favor, recoge tu plato de la mesa. Could you please finish your homework? Thank you so much. This was so wonderful. Thank you for bringing me a glass of water. So everything was very soft spoken. So when the directors told me, we feel like Dolores would speak like that, that's where I went with the character. So that's why you hear like, oh, tonight he wants 5 babies. Everything very intimate. These are loud for her. So it made sense. It made sense, but it wasn't a hard character to get into, that for sure. It was just a hard-lived reality that I had to do to prepare for it.
Right. One of my favorite movies from the film, I think, is when the family, Dolores just learns of this secret, right, that's going on. We won't go too much into detail, but I think it's so relatable to any family out there. They're all sitting around the dinner table at this point. Mirabel, who's one of the main characters, is looking over across the table at Dolores. Dolores is looking back. They have these wide eyes because they both know the secret. And then before you know it, the secret's out. And I find it just so relatable. I think so many families have probably had that moment, especially between siblings, of saying, don't tell mom, and then mom knows.
Exactly. And she was just trying to.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that scene because it also shows how far we've come, from scenes where, people of color, Afro-Latinos were in the back or serving. Now we're all sitting at the table together, and it's so significative of the moment we're living. It's incredible that Disney's always at the forefront of everything. They're the ones saying, look at us now. Look at how far we've come. I know my grandmother would have been so proud if she was alive now. And to show something, a story that includes the generational traumas that we all go through. I mean, it's real, but at the same time has a song like We Don't Talk About Bruno, which we're all talking about something real. We're all saying it from our own perspectives, but it's still fun. It is still like, yeah, this is part of our lives. Hey, Bruno live in fear, Bruno stuttering or stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. It's a heavy lift, but the gift so humbling. Always lift up well and the family fumbling, grappling with prophecies they couldn't understand. Do you understand?
So good. It's amazing. Again, yeah, it definitely deserves all the praise that it's receiving. And then for the music, as you said, been written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, Disney always being on the forefront of things. It really was the perfect combination. And now we're all talking about Bruno, even though the song tells us not to. It's one thing that we're doing all the time, and we're playing it a lot here on Hits 96. And also, speaking of generations, your daughter has a small role in the film as well, doesn't she?
She does. Her name is Alyssa Bella. She's one of the town kids that runs around. And to me, it was such a dream come true because for me, it was so many years of having this dream of being able to change people's lives and for my daughter to be able to have that. So for us, it was 4 generations, to my grandmother, to my mother, to me, now to my daughter, who didn't have to wait until, 20 years from now to have her moment. And so to be able to watch a film, see both of our names there, see that this is a family film that includes a real family because we're all living it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And Dos Oruguitas, which has been nominated for this incredible Academy Award, ties all of the story together because it's the moment where Mirabel and Grandma have that heart to heart, where they both understand where they're coming from. Because there's not a villain. There are misunderstandings that happen in a family. Like, we don't talk about this guy. This one gets shot, and why is Grandma being so tough? It's because she loves her family so deeply. She's scared. And then Mirabel feels like, well, you're not letting me show you that I can help, even though I don't seem like the the one that could save us all, but it does take everybody. So Dos Oruguitas brings that together. The fact that we start as caterpillars and only knowing this reality, and little by little we have to make that growth, and it's hard and it's different and it's scary. But once you do that, you become something greater than you would ever imagine. And the way that Sebastián Yatra interprets it, I mean, go figure why it's been nominated. It's the song that makes you cry every time. I've watched it like 30 times. I'm no kidding. I'm seriously, Gino D. I've watched it at least 30 times with my kids. That's not counting the times I watch it by myself, because I do. Like all by myself. I'm like, nobody's watching. I'm gonna watch it right now. And every time I cry.
Yes, it's a wonderful film. And yes, congratulations on all the success. And speaking of the Oscars, there's some rumors going around. There's all types of news being passed around about maybe a performance for the first time ever with the cast of Encanto live for We Don't Talk About Bruno. What can you talk about when it comes to that performance? Well, what do you know, if anything?
I heard that the whole cast is going to be there.
Okay.
And I heard that it's going to be amazing. So you better be there early so you can watch everything. Okay. But that's all I know so far.
All right.
It's amazing.
Okay.
But there's more, but I can't say.
We will take your word for it. We're all going to be tuning in. Again, congratulations on everything. We wish you the best of luck in everything that you do. We're keeping our fingers crossed for Encanto 2. That'd be pretty amazing, right? That'd be a great
Oh my goodness. From your mouth to Disney's ears. It'd be incredible. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much, Adassa, for the time. We Don't Talk About Bruno is the song. We're playing it all the time here on Hits 96, and we'll continue to do so. Have a great day, and thank you for taking the time and talking with me.
Thank you too. Bye.
Yeah.